you were this, like you say, you were the poster child at, when you started off for EdTech. But at what point of time do you feel that things started unraveling, things started going wrong? Did you take your eyes off the ball, concentrated on just expansion too fast, too soon? What happened?
See, so I won't deny, when we tried expanding from India to the whole world, we made some business mistakes. We were maybe we could have taken it a little bit slowly. We were growing little too soon, too fast. We went from India to 21 new countries. But that, if you ask me, in that context of 2019 to 2021,
the COVID era, mostly COVID type. When
every investor, we have 160 investors, world-class investors, equity investors. All of them, this was the mandate: grow, and change the way kids learn. It was not because we were we were raising money for growth at that time. But when the world changed, with interest rates, and when interest rate going up, when Fed increased the interest rate, and almost parallelly, the big war started, Russia-Ukraine. Suddenly the liquidity dried up. 700 million of committed capital, signed committed capital, didn't turn up. So we were planning all these acquisitions and growth, assuming that all this money is coming. In fact, these were signed documents. There was no litigation. We didn't go and litigate those investors who backed out because of these external macro reasons. And from then onwards, and this is early 2022, and it's almost now 3 years, we have been struggling for liquidity. But fortunately, we had enough liquidity, which we made, we made, as I told you,
You have no regrets?
I have no regrets in terms of putting all that money back. Okay. Because I was doing that to save the mission. For the next 2 years, I told you 3 years we have been going through this challenge. Next 2 years, every month we started putting 100 crores, 150 crores, all of which is made from this mission. So that's why I'm telling you, I was doing that to protect the mission. But we missed these dirty games, which literally 1 or 2 aggressive hedge funds, they were able, it's unbelievable on how they have been able to manipulate an entire system using ENY, using Ketan, and this RP is just like a pawn in the game. I was not expecting things like this can happen. So the insolvency process, which happened because of the last 10% payment to BCCI, but we actually sold our homes and paid BCCI. We should have got the control back literally within 2 weeks of that starting.
What homes were these?
All our assets in India, the last assets in India, we sold. So we don't, I see media reports of we having 10 luxury cars and 5 mansions. I can challenge and show one. None of us have. We stay in a rented mansion. I know it's a big home because we have 15 people at home, but it's in a rented mansion from a friend. In fact, I'm not materialistic at all. In fact, I hate people who talk about all these. In fact, the media reported 10 cars. I don't even know half of those names.
No, but all billionaires say this, no, money doesn't matter, but it does matter.
For me, it's different. Because I never started this for money. If I was caring about money, why will I put my brother, Divya, put thousands of crores back? It's like if we were only, because in bad times, who puts the money back? You show me one startup entrepreneur who has put anything close to this back not in good times. So it's not out of greed. It's to protect the mission. So we put all our money back in the window from 2022 March. War started in Feb. 2022 March to 2024 till the insolvency process started. In fact, 1 month into bankruptcy also we put our last few crores back to pay teachers.
I'll come back to the teachers and to your insolvency bit. Let me pick up on what you were talking about, acquisitions. You just mentioned that. Do you regret about the Akash Institute acquisition that you did?
Not at all. It was it's one of our best acquisitions. Now, in terms of what happened after...
Didn't you overspend $1 billion you paid? Was it worth $1 billion?
At that point of time, that was 5% of the valuation of Think and Learn. And we thought that there is a huge opportunity to what was available only to a few students in big metros, making the same kind of options available to small towns. So we, after the acquisition, we actually took Akash to small towns. So like what was reaching out to only like few parts of India, the same program we made it available to 300 plus senders within 18 months of taking over. It was actually, it's one of our best acquisitions. Today, all this narrative around acquisitions, like we made mistakes. Like when you make 6 big acquisitions, 4 of them are doing well, but everyone talks about the 2, and that's how it works, right?
Because
people, the 2 acquisitions which didn't turn out, which didn't pan out the way we were expecting, and that's also because we took those like in hindsight, we could have what we were trying to do in 1 or 2 years. Maybe we should have taken 4 or 5 years. Our initial 5 years, like it was all very efficient. As like from 2015 to 2019, it was efficient growth, making an impact in the way students learn in deep parts of India. To anyone who was having access to a smartphone or a device, we were making it available. You look at, there are like tens of thousands of reviews by students available online. Nobody talks about that. Everyone talks about the single-digit percentage where we would have,
because everybody is trying to find out why things went wrong. So when things go wrong, the chart on the wrong part is like white hat. Why did you do that? Because the man was lying. He was selling dreams which didn't exist. Something that de facto then became that smear of lie came on you because of white hat.
See, selling dreams or selling fear is not something that's not the ideology with which we started.
Correct.
As I mentioned. Now, the white hat, its core offering, which is appealing to a small percentage of the students during COVID who wanted to learn how to code.
Coding for 6-year-olds, how is that going to help work?
Again, I'm telling you, like we have made, like those are all business mistakes. Now, I'm like today, like even though that came through an acquisition, the concept of White Hat Junior, what would have really changed is teachers in India teaching students anywhere in the world who wanted to learn math from Indian teachers. Like that's a huge opportunity lost. Within what no one is talking about is like, I know the marketing messages were wrong, like but we corrected it later. Like no, I'm not telling we never made mistakes. We did a lot of great things. We made a lot of mistakes.
The messaging was wrong on White Hat.
Like some messaging was wrong in the initial 12 months, but that got blown out of. We corrected all those messages. Now, my son, like all our kids at home, they learned math and coding from, like my son would have learned at least 240 hours from that. So what everyone is not talking about, please talk to the users, those who really, like what no one is talking about. Talk to 10 random parents in UK, in US who use this. There is something special about that. Indian teachers, women teachers, they are not just teaching. For most of them will tell it was almost like a second mother. Because we are very good in that, right? We don't just, for us nothing is transactional. They were learning math, and today they all miss that. It's a lost opportunity for India. We could have created, my idea was to create 1 million teaching jobs. Now you can say, oh, that's such a big ambition. But where do I come from? I come from a small village. What were the odds of me doing even a fraction of what I did when I was starting off? So this eternal optimism is come from the fact that I made it out of nothing. Even the average English which I speak here is what I've learned by listening to cricket commentary on radio. I've been a self-learner throughout. So I actually wanted to create a generation of self-learners, those who learn not because of this pressure of exams, but because of love for learning. And what mistake we did so I was trying to create 1 million teaching jobs. We were just starting. We were at its peak, as I told, we created almost 40,000 teaching jobs.
And then there were those
There's one more thing. Like what mistake we did when we created 2.15 lakh jobs for fresh graduates, which just for the greed of a few random vulture lenders in US. Today all of us have suffered. And like no one wants to listen to this. Everything which I'll tell, I'll be able to show under affidavit, under sworn affidavit in any court.
But you talked about creating these jobs and you created so many jobs. Then there were those several videos which were there on social media saying they were overworked, underpaid, and those kind of things came out. So where was this dissonance? What you wanted to do and what happened then?
Like 100%. So when like we had like 15,000 sales guys at its peak, out of which even 1% of them crossing the line or like aggressively selling, we have made mistakes, but all of that was in the initial years. We have corrected all of that by having enough guardrails. Now what happens is like now when you like we had 6 million plus students, how many complaints are in thousands? So that's, if you think of from a percentage point of view, unfortunately social media things get blown out of proportion, right? Beyond all this, now maybe like there are a few thousand students and parents where we would have done overselling. We have corrected them, but we have also given the same product completely free to 5.5 million students. They are not on social media. Their voice is not heard anywhere. Today, that's why I'm not giving up, because the moment we come back in control, and 100% it will happen in whatever form and shape, and sometimes it's a blessing in disguise, because like the things like this can create PTSD, but though for those who are mission driven, it will be used to create post-traumatic growth.
Okay. See, when you talked about giving those tablets, giving those phones and learning through that, there was this hyper-aggressive mode that the sales force went and said, if you don't buy this, then your children, ye piche hat jayenge aapke bacche. You know, that kind of sales mode. Similar kind of tactic was also used by many people in the cell phone industry who told people that give it to your daughters, give it to your son. There was a pushback. Some people didn't want that. हम अपनी बेटियों को phone नहीं देंगे. You know, that thing that बिगड़ जाएंगी, लड़कियां बिगड़ जाएंगी. So we won't give a phone. Like there's an interview with Khan sir, also from the ed field, and he said that this girl who couldn't study further because her parents said phone नहीं देंगे, कुछ भी हो जाए phone नहीं देंगे, पढ़ेंगे कैसे? Phone नहीं देंगे तो. So you were doing the similar thing. In the sense of much before Khan sir was doing it, you were doing this, giving these tablets. So were you selling hardware? Were you selling dreams? Were you selling education? What was your goal?
We were selling love for learning. Now, in while doing so at scale, like that's why I was telling you, like at the ground level, a few hundred of those tens of thousands of sales guys have made mistakes, but we have corrected them. We have actually corrected them because we all now. What is missing out is for anything there are two sides to it, right? If it's used in moderation. Now, how do you solve the biggest challenge we have in today, what no one talks about? Like I come from a village, so I know that 20 years back in my village, there were graduates who were staying back to teach. Today, none of them are staying back. They are all moving to cities. So we have a much bigger challenge at grassroots levels to solve today. Teachers, with the kind of urbanization which has happened in the last 20, 30 years, forget about good teachers. Schools are struggling to find teachers. The only way you can solve this at scale is by using technology as an enabler. So now I was only selling, when I say like the mission was always and will always be to sell, I will never sell any product which is not used at home. I am not like, because you will find a lot of entrepreneurs who create products but they ban them at home.
Your own home, you mean?
Yes, I've only sold products. I've only bought companies which I know that it's not that I will never sell anything to anyone which I won't give it to my son, who's very special to me. So like whether it's White Hat Junior, so he has learned everything, the fundamentals of math and coding he has learned from some special teachers in White Hat. So I'm trying to tell that there is nothing which is all the, like out of millions of students who used our product or still use our products, how many product complaints are there online? You won't find. No one will tell. Today there is no alternate to BYJU'S. So we have to make a comeback in one form or the other for students who have not got.
Why do you say there's no alternative to
what's
BYJU'S?
The, like if
what is your USP that is different, that there is no alternative?
We have actually used, like at its peak, simultaneously we had 85,000 employees. We were creating those movie-like videos and game-like interactions to make sure that students love learning, to bring the childlike curiosity back in students. What is the most important skill today? It is not about learn, like a lot of students ask, why do I learn math? Like parents ask, why should they learn math? Why should they learn science? People, they are all used as a tool to learn the most important skill, if it's done right, which is learning how to learn. Today, the students who are going to schools today, all of us know that 15 years later, the skill set which they are learning in school, the math and science won't be of any use. But if you can make sure that you learn how to learn, all of us learn today. There is no other option. If it was previously, yeah, maybe you could have learned just one skill, worked in the same industry, same career for 30 years and you retire, like our parents or grandparents. It's not an option. You have to become a continuous learner. Like you need to learn at the pace which a 4-year-old or 3-year-old learn.
But the content that you're teaching,
yeah, it's everlasting. You look at like today.
It is not in line with CBSE, ICSE, State Board, is it?
100%. It's like for a.
It says it's aligned. What does aligned
No,
mean?
It's not about. We were not selling to schools. We were not selling to in India. Parents, when it comes to education, they are brutal. 90% mapping is not enough. You need to be 100% mapped to the curriculum because like the numbers won't lie. Today you use for like not just when we were like today we are not making money because the companies you search for anything you search quadratic equation sitting in Dubai, use a VPN and go to Philippines and search, you will get BYJU'S. Most of the AI platforms, the results come from BYJU'S. Like how we are by far the largest platform like this even today.
So you feel CBSE has not kept up with BYJU'S or BYJU'S has not kept up with CBSE?
No, it's not. It's not nothing to do with CBSE. Like our products were mapped to CBSE, State Boards, ICSE. So that's what we did for like it took us. We were building that product for 10 years.
Huh.
There's no one who has invested even a fraction of that globally. We get more users than Khan Academy in US. Free users. So it's like no one is talking about. So today when I am talking about users, all of them learn for free. That's why we have to protect.
So what was the
platform.
model then if everybody was picking for free?
Like for specific programs to go deep to personalized learning, a small percentage of very small percentage of them were paying for it. And a much smaller percentage of them is what you are talking about, which got amplified. See, this mis-selling is a 2018-2019 story. But it's the same story getting rehashed. We've been on the receipt.
So why didn't you fight back then, Byju? Why didn't you break the narrative by telling them? Whoever was
telling whom? We are fighting this in court. We are not able to fight this media battle because it's who's on the other side. It's like large corporations on the other side. But we are not giving up. So you need to understand that we won't give up till we win. How do you beat a person who never gives up?
No, by you saying that we can't fight a media narrative. You were so media savvy. You were sponsoring the Indian cricket team and all that. That's like a big marketing firm. Right? You're spending millions doing that, right? So you know how to market your product. You know how to set a narrative. Then why can't you? If you can set a narrative, why can't you fight a narrative?
I'm not telling we can't. It's a matter of.
It's
a matter of time. We didn't. It's like whether it's right or wrong. We could have done this 2 years back. But even for us to understand, because like I'm a first generation entrepreneur, I am not expecting people to do so many things in bad faith. I trust people blindly, and I am not going to change that style.
Why? See, after you got beaten?
No, because whatever good has happened because of that.
That your innocence.
No, it's like
trusting
where I come from. That's what I've been taught. That's like everything.
Did you expect people to have just faith because your intention is good, but your processes were not stringent enough?
Now, all of these see today you use the word the family run. It was never like that. In bad times, like many people ran away because not many people can take the kind of pressure which we go through. Just before all these challenges started, and this is not organic, right? This is a planned conspiracy, which the time will prove this, and world will see this. Like otherwise, see, you think of it. If I have anything to hide, like 2 years back, we were sitting on thousands of crores. Today, we have nothing. After finishing that, we have raised a few hundred more crores because See, there are a lot of good people who have supported us in the last 2 years. And they've all been targeted. They've all been personally targeted by using this cover called glass, who's an agent, right? Because it's very easy for individuals who are playing this game to sit behind.
Who's behind the glass?
Like a few individuals who are sitting, who are
Americans.
Americans, and some of Indians who are in America, right? But Americans. But again, I won't, like, it's a very general this thing, right? It's not, I'm not telling Americans are bad. That's a wrong thing, right? It's a few hedge funds, like literally two.
You regret that special purpose?
The only mistake, if you ask me, which created all this is that we shouldn't have taken this, when we had enough equity options, we shouldn't have taken this term loan at that time in 2021.
1 billion or something.
Yeah, 1 billion. Because it was like, we had other options. We have raised 5 billion before that. So it's not, we were not doing it out of desperation. Now that's it was all collective decision. Today everyone, like our board was like 3 founder directors and 3 investor directors. They were there till 2020. They were there till 2000. After that, no big decision is taken. All our big decisions, or these acquisition decisions.
What happened in that EGM when they asked you to leave?
It's all later, right? Because when these vulture lenders started the litigation, a lot of them got scared. They are at the end of the day, they are managers. They are not owners. They got scared with the potential liability. They were running for cover. They were figuring out, can they get directors' insurance? Now this is not the story. Now they can't tell this that they got scared. So they just created the narrative that Byju doesn't listen. He's arrogant. Now for me, it's the other way around. There are 2 types of people, right? Those who know me and those who know of me. Anyone who has spent even 3 hours with me, they know that it's like, I'm exactly the opposite of what I am made out to be.
You get thrown out of the company you only created. What happens then?
No, I have not been thrown like those. That was not.
It's illegal, you're saying that?
Because if you see, like some of the videos I have posted also, you'll see that it's very clearly telling the large group on camera is telling that, and which includes many lawyers.
So for our audiences who have not seen that, tell me what happened.
It's there on Twitter on my handle, so you can go and see. You can see and you can figure out whether it's like where they are clearly telling that there is no fraud. We have to make it look like it's a fraud. And that's people who are telling, they are like the top partners in these multiple legal firms representing these aggressive investors. They are clearly telling there is no fraud. We have to make it look like we have to create a narrative of fraud.
Do you have control over the company now? Or
no, I don't have the control over the company now.
Okay. So how are you planning
because truth will come out at some point of time, because in India it takes time, but it will come out. Now,
let me come to that BCCI bit.
Yeah.
Explain what happened there. You returned some money. Was there pressure on you? What happened?
No, BCCI, we paid, we were like, it was a 3-year
crores you paid.
We would have paid almost 1,500 crores before that. But the last 158 crores, we were not able to pay because the company was going through a liquidity
15,000 crores was the...
1,500 crores, approximately how much that's the amount we would have paid in those 3 years when we had the sponsorship. Last 10% was remaining, which they went to NCLT with that. But the moment we got admitted into this CARP process, we arrived at a settlement with BCCI and we paid them the amount. So we should have been out of insolvency and company should have been back to us within 15 days. But that's when Glass came into these proceedings, put all those big allegations, not in written affidavits. They'll never do that because nobody will take the responsibility of misrepresenting in a written affidavit. So in court you can just come and shout. That's where all these fugitives were. They came and shouted, the brothers are fugitives. We had, as I've already told, that lookout notices. They have siphoned out money. They have stolen money. None of this is true. All these are false allegations.
There was also that guy who said that William Haler, who said that you even gave him a plane ticket to go to Dubai so that he doesn't have to testify in court.
Completely wrong. That's another false allegation. So look at the individual's track record. He's a serial fraud. He approached us telling that there is a settlement with lend. See, my objective is always to figure out a way to, if they are patient, anyone who's asking for money, they would have got their money back. By trying to burn this by targeting and tarnishing us personally, it's a lose-lose game. So when someone approached us, and us and few of the investors who would have actually put money for settling some of these lenders if they were patient. So he came with multiple fake documents telling that there is an agreed document for settlement. Now, as a banker, he approached as a banker, not just me. So he fooled everyone who was involved at that time, and went and gave these wrong statement in US. Now, unfortunately, today we don't have liquidity to actually have represented in US courts. If we are sitting on these hundreds of millions as they are claiming, we will have representation in US courts. We don't have $1-2 million required to fight them in US courts.
Okay. We talked about your acquisitions when we talked about Akash and White. I don't know. What about these big ticket items? Like you had SRK, wearing a Byju shirt. You had him giving. Do you regret all these? Whether it was Messi, whether it was SRK. Do you think that it was just too much of marketing?
No, not in the first 3 years. Not in the first 3 years, because what is that? We are if you want to create a new segment. Now, when I say a new segment, when we launched the learning app, there was no app for learning. For someone in a small town, like for the kind of places where I come from, if they want to learn, there was nothing available that time. Today also there's nothing available, unfortunately, other than what we have created. So our place has not been taken by anyone, even with all the disruptions. Our user base, those who learn free from us, have actually grown in the last 2 years.
So what value addition was Shah Rukh Khan bringing?
When you are creating a new segment, how do you create awareness for that segment? Look at all the commercials which we have created with Shah Rukh Khan and everyone else. Or with Messi. It was talking about love for learning. Messi was talking about education for all, which is possibly the largest not-for-profit initiative in terms of the scale it reached.
One has made it in sports, one has made it in films. Where were the education? Why didn't you have a
They were not teaching, right? It's like, in fact, our teachers are in our ads. It was just to get the attention of people to try out, to understand that you can learn in a way where it's not a task, where it's where you, as I told you, like finding that right balance between engaging the students and making sure that it's effective. At the end of the day, it's unlike any entertainment platform. You have to you get the engagement and then you make it effective. So it's very similar to, like, prior to launching this app, I was teaching in stadiums.
Yeah, I've seen those
almost
videos.
Like they're not like now, like it's not like a math classroom. You have to to keep the attention of 25,000 teenagers, you have to almost do it like a math concert. Now, when we got this opportunity of reaching out, that was reaching out to few tens of thousands of students. At a time, like our biggest batch was maybe 25,000 in one stadium. You can see those videos. They're online.
You were transmitting it. I mean, you're broadcasting it.
No, I was doing it. I was broadcasting over VSAT and internet. I was also going to, like, the first 10 years, I was traveling. In 7 days, I used to go to 9 different cities. Starting from, my schedule used to look like this. Saturday morning I'll do Bangalore, evening I'll do Chennai, Sunday morning I'll do Bombay, Sunday evening I'll do Pune, Monday to Friday I'll go to 5 more cities and book stadiums and teach. This is what I did for 10 years. So it's not that somewhere suddenly we got lucky, raised a lot of money. People don't understand that. And those 10 years...
Your core competency was that you were a great teacher. And then do you feel that you were not a great businessman? That's where the problem was?
So 2004 to 2015, we scaled that to create such a big impact, tens of thousands of students. But next 2015 to 2025, we have been able to reach out to millions of students. Now, we have made mistakes in those 2 years between 2021 to 2023. But all of that is, as I told you, it's like today we realize we could have slowed down a little bit. We kind of overestimated the pace or the capacity which we were building in like 20 plus new countries. But what happened from 2022 onwards, so that's not organic, and you can't defend against things like the below the belt attack which they were doing for the last 2.5 years.
Did you meet Shah Rukh after the collapse that has happened?
No.
You met him before that?
Yeah.
Do you think that either Messi or Shah Rukh regretted being associated with
I,
your
I,
brand?
I don't think so. I don't
Did
think
they
so.
ever send a message to you about this?
No.
Okay. Given a chance, would you still hire them to do this or to push your brand?
See, now I don't think
If you
we
were
need
to think in hindsight, would you still do the same thing?
In those initial years, what we did in India to create awareness for a segment of, see, I think everyone is, it was not about creating a learning app. It was about creating a segment of self-learners. What is the mission? What was the mission and what is the mission and what will be the mission? It's like a lot of, see, you might think that in business you can say some are business decisions, but for me, those businesses were based on that underlying core principle was about.
More I'm speaking to you, more it seems that it was emotion driven, most of your decisions.
But I was only driving, till 2019, I was involved in execution. After that, we had 6 companies and 6 companies were professionally, what no one is talking about, we had 95 professionals whom we were paying over 1 crore. Now I am telling that to tell you that so high quality professionals, 95 professionals were there across these 6 companies. So like I have, my style is, I never do micromanagement. Talk to anyone who has worked with me. I create the excitement. It's to show, get them excited about the vision, and it's like a lot of people used to tell that it's like, and that's the reason people joined us.
I did see an interview of one of your former CEOs who worked with you, and he said that was the best part about working with you. He also began as a teacher and was traveling back and forth between Bangalore, and it was like, shooting and things like that. And I'm not naming them because I don't know whether I don't have their permission. He said the same thing, that it was fun to work with you because you were not micromanaging, not your teachers and not your professionals who were working with you. So he said it was great fun to work with him because he gave that open. And he said that was the best part about having you as a boss. He's also worked with the Tatas, and he said that it was similar kind of a thing where your bosses see your value and allow you to function on their own. There is a good part about that. There is a bad part about that also, in the sense that when you gave so much of freedom, there must have been some people who were greedy, who went wrong in giving you wrong advice or keeping you away from the fact that things are sliding down. Where do you think?
That's true. It's all like, as you say in cricket, you also, like, a lot of times you also get out playing your best shots, right? So it's like what, but you can't change what defines you as a person, like giving that freedom. Now that's why I became an entrepreneur, because I got that. Otherwise, you look at how many, like in those years, in the 2000s, today there is a wave of, there is that entrepreneurial mindset which is coming across the youngsters in India today. But in 2010 to 2015, how many entrepreneurs have come from small villages in India? Those who have gone to a government school, a Malayalam medium school, or like Hindi medium school. It is only because of the freedom which I got from my dad. He has given me the complete freedom. That's why I'm an entrepreneur. I do that. If I can be half as good as him in giving that kind of a freedom to my son, I'm sure I'll be a good dad. So that style is, but that is what created so many great entrepreneurs in the ecosystem. See, today you are only seeing because of what happened in the last, which I told you, it's not organic. We have been on the receiving end of a few vulture lenders, those who have created a massive conspiracy, which 100% will come out, because nobody can run away from the fact that, because these are blatant misrepresentations and fraud with proof, which you can find, which came out through the whistleblowers who are part of that thing. And some of them, like today, they have reached out, they are my students.
Your students are exactly from the same kind of background that you were in. Middle class families where they want to dream big, that through education they can get out of the trap of, sliding into poverty or getting out of, moving forward in life. That's probably why your father also encouraged you, gave you the freedom to do what you did. And you also came out from that. From a middle class family, you became a billionaire. You were the poster boy of Forbes and everybody. You were that.
But what is the perception? Perception is that I'm a control freak, where it's exactly the opposite.
Both perceptions are there. But when
these
the
are
story,
exactly the
when the story goes wrong, then of course the negative perceptions also come across. But there are videos of people who have praised you when things were going good also. But I want to come back to those students of yours. There are parents, And I'm talking about millions of them. We're not talking about a few hundred, but there are millions of them who took loans, who cut their own dreams to buy those programs, to get, and what happens with them now? They can't get their money back? They can't get, what happens? Refund doesn't happen?
No, that's like first of all, there were no millions of loans. That's wrong, because I know the number. No, there were millions of students who got our product, who happily learned from the product, and who finished their courses with the product, right? The disruption is only, if you ask me, the disruption which happened unfortunately, and that's where I apologize to all those students, even if it's one student, it's still it cannot happen. That's the reason why the moment we come back, I'm still thinking of how to compensate for those few students. Now this few is not one or two, it's a few thousand students who missed out because of the disruption in the last. When is the student disruption started? Only from September. Because even in August, our last few crores which we had, we paid to teachers. But this kind of the insolvency process, which is a rigged process, it never happens that where you stop paying teachers. So the glass went and took a stay to make sure that salaries are not paid. That's not the objective of any bankruptcy law. So I feel sorry, and I'm apologizing to those few students who missed out because services were disrupted. But the product part was not disrupted. The entire course. In fact, that's another, when things were going very well for us, unlike, we were not ruthless in cutting the businesses down, because you can't do that when it comes to students. You have to see to the course completion. So we didn't do. That's another. So when all investors who were asking us grow, overnight they told that, okay, markets are changing, now cut and shut down businesses. I didn't agree for that. I didn't agree for that. Now, business-wise, you can say that we can't be ruthless. This is education. So there, the teacher in me stood up, and we didn't shut down the businesses. We had to complete the course, like that, and that's true even for White Hat Junior. Once you make a commitment to complete the course, you have to finish the course. Whereas if it's an entertainment business, we could have just shut down the platform. No one would have suffered. So there's in education, that's why good teachers will never leave, because teachers do change institutes, but they'll never leave halfway through. Because the real teachers, the good teachers, because now people get money, but it's not the teachers. Teaching is not a highly paid profession in India. But what is the most satisfying part of being a teacher? And I see that even today. My 78-year-old father, when any student see, I can see his eyes lighting up, and that's true for me. That's true for Divya. The biggest satisfaction and so it's teaching is one of the most satisfying jobs, and that's why it's an unfinished dream for us. India, this is a space. This is one segment which we should own. This is because students are hungry to learn. Parents want their kids to learn. They'll go to any length to make sure that they'll sacrifice everything else to make sure that their kids are.
But it's not a dream that you're willing to give up, and you keep saying.
It's the only thing I'll do. I've been doing this for 20 years now. 2 years of struggles, which have strengthened me. So it's I'm telling you, it's I'm not faking anything here. I had gone through the toughest of. I've seen the highest of highs, right? Coming from, but I've also seen. But where do I come from? If I'm someone who will be worried about, I had thousands of crores, now I have nothing. I don't care. It was never about that. So this whole conception about, I have never done this. So I'm an engineer by chance, a teacher by choice, which made me an entrepreneur by chance. But businesses can fail. Business mistakes can be made. But true entrepreneurs, they never fail. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. It's a mindset. I'll prove that it was always about the mission. That is why it's foolish, right? Everyone today, even people who walk on the road, see, it's all this, as
they recognize you here in
everybody who's because not just because of, see, in good times, I used to feel bad that why am I getting this much credit for what everyone else is doing? It was always a collective effort. I am just in fact, people used to tell that I'm leading a cult in a positive way, because I used to get everyone, otherwise, in 2011, when I was actually attracting my students who went to IIMs to come back and join us without any brand name. We became a brand only in 2015. It was only I was only like selling them the vision of changing the way students learn.
When you see all the media, when you got all the awards, your company got all the awards, did that give you a high? Or was it the millions of students who recognize you, who say thank you, that gives you a high? And what gives you the low, that you let down students?
I get the, so the answer is the same. I get the biggest happiness when students see me and they come and like, there's a lot of love. You come with me now outside in Dubai, like go to any, because it's like, this is like an extended India here, right? It's like almost an extended Kerala. Like you can see the love. You can see the love. But like in social media it's different. Like people sitting there, like love is private. Hate is public. All of us know that. But you just come out with me after this, you will see the love, and that's what keeps me going. So I have to continue the mission and change. Because
what is going to be 3.0, Byju's 3.0?
The mission is not, see, I'm stubborn when it comes to the mission. It's going to be the same. How do we make it easy and interesting for students? Like how can we use AI not to replace teachers but to enable teachers to become better teachers? How can we move the bottom quartile of students to the next one or to the next one? What is the easiest way of telling that? You call me like a great teacher. I was a good teacher only because any student who has, because I've taught tens of thousands of students, right? Millions of students later. One thing which they will all tell, and that's what keeps me going, and that's what like is even in the toughest of times what is giving me the energy to go on and on and on, because it's not been, I didn't run away. I'm like, because if it was about money, like in bad times, like anyone who's doing it for money, they'll start another business. And especially when we had so much money, right? The data is there. It's not, we have paid, there are years where we paid thousands of crores in taxes. So everything which we have built is in India, from India to the world.
You keep saying I didn't run away, but the optics are that you are sitting in Dubai, so
wrong
you ran
narrative,
away.
Wrong narrative. That's a wrong narrative. I have always lived with my family. First in my village, then in Bangalore, and then here for a different, like how everyone thinks the ED inquiry started 2023. I am outside India from 2019.